I got like a sassy groove going right now. Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 302. I'm Laura, also known as Lola.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is May the 30th, 2016.
Must knit faster.
It's Memorial Day here in the States.
So, if you have served in the armed forces, thank you so much for your service.
Yes. And I wish we could give you more than a thank you, but
Yeah.
anyhow, so we introduced ourselves. We said the episode, the date. Now it's knitting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
No, I'm in the middle of a row. Can you go first?
Oh, yeah. I only have one thing. Period.
Oh.
That's it.
Oh, that's right, because you've been knitting like the wind on it.
So, I should get a sock blocker. Hold on one second. So I am knitting on my we're in May, Desert Vista Dyeworks socks because I like to wait till the Thursday when they're due on a Tuesday before they're due.
Before they even start them.
Yeah, totally. This is a medium sock blocker, so it's going to look a little... But this is Desert Vista Dyeworks, and for those of you who don't know, she does a kind of like unclub where you can use her yarn to knit a pair of socks a month, and there are rewards that happen. So for every month you get either 10% off, and then after 6 months you get a free skein of yarn, or and it's like it goes up to 30%, and so if you do 3 months you get 30%. So you're like, 30% off a skein of yarn. That's awesome. No, it's your entire order.
Oh, yeah. That's
so
cool.
I bought multiple skeins of yarn.
So all the details for this will be in the Desert Vista Dyeworks Ravelry.
Yes, and Susan's amazing, and she's the sweetest. And she does a thing with it where if you post on Instagram, like every 10 posts, you get a prize too. So I got like a canister of stitch markers that came to my house this week. Amazing.
That sounds like hell to keep up with. So way to go, Susan.
Susan is amazing. Well, everything's hashtagged.
Right.
But she's amazing. Like, she's the best. I don't know how she does it all and dyes amazing yarn. So this is Desert Vista Dyeworks, and it's our colorway.
It is.
Somebody Loves the Knit Girls.
Yes. I've saved mine. I haven't used it yet.
Another colorway, but for Harry Potter House Cup, one of the prompts has sparkle. And this has sparkle because not only is it red and purple and zombies, it's got sparkle. Makes me super happy. So this is the first sock. It goes from a purple to a green zombie variegated. I just want like one that just does the green and purple zombie variegates back and forth because those are so pretty. And then red for Leslie, and then a purple zombie variegated, and then back to the purple. So I did on this one, I did a heel.
You did a heel on a sock? That is scandalous.
I am nothing but scandalous. This is the Wendy Johnson Toe-Up Socks with a Gusset. It is a free pattern on her website. And also, if you don't have her books, you need to go out and buy all of them because they're super fabulous. They're some of my favorites. And I also keep right up here. She
Your
did
little
this
box?
Yes, the Toe-Up box of socks. Oh, it's got my name on it. That's how amazing I am. Maybe you would like to see the front of it and not my name.
Toe-Up socks in the box.
And it's got like tools. It's got all these cute little like tabs. And so back in the back there's sport weight and there's Gansey socks. And so it's like the little patterns to go. So
you can put them in your project bag.
Yes, it makes me super happy. So that always lives right on my desk, right by where we record, actually. I got new needles. Are you ready?
You did?
I did. I didn't even tell you about this.
You haven't told me about them.
And I paid for them with my own monies. So you don't even know about them. I am scandalous. These are, hold on, the Twist Minis. It's an interchangeable set.
Huh.
Shagoo. You know where I heard about them on? Amy Beth, because she's amazing.
She is amazing.
So I watched her episode and I was like, I'm going to order those right now. And then I went to Middle Tennessee and everyone had them. Everyone who sells Shagoos was selling them. So what they are is they come in this cute little pouch like this. This is the whole set right here.
Okay.
and it's size 000 to 1.5.
That is madness. I don't need that.
But I do. And then there's the cords.
Wow.
And I'm kind of hoping they have these at TNNA because I want a second set. Because the cords that they come, so it's just 2 tips. And I do like, instead of magic looping, I like my 2 16-inch. So then it's got 2 14-inch cables, 1 14-inch cable, 1 22-inch cable, and 1 30-inch cable. And that's what I'm using right now. So it comes with 3 cables. So the 14-inch, and it's 5-inch tips. Because Eloise and I were having this discussion before I even bought them, and she's like, if they're 4-inch tips, she doesn't really like them, but look, they're nice long tips.
Yeah, I like 5. 5 inches about the shortest I can comfortably go.
And when they're 00s and 000s, instead of being labeled with the size, they just have little dots. Like it's 2 dots for 00.
Oh.
Dots for 000s. I like them a lot so far. I will tell you that I have to tighten them quite a bit. They come with another little pouch. All right, so this is what else is in the set. There's a sizer.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this little teeny tiny toolkit, which has cable connectors, end stoppers, tightening keys, stitch markers, and a rubber gripper. And the rubber gripper is shaped like a heart.
And that's to twist the needle and the cable
yes.
together?
So you put in this little pin, which I can't even grab. It's so tiny. Hold on. This little pin.
Oh, it's like a T-pin.
Yeah, it's a little mini T-pin, and you put that in, and then you tighten it. And there's the little stoppers and the stitch markers. And there's an itty-bitty connector cable there, too, so you can make it a long cord if you want. So if you're doing, like, a sweater or something.
Yeah. On
size 0 needles. Then you're all set. But it's a cute little set. It was a little bit pricey. $79 is what I paid for it.
Wow.
So, but now that I'm, like, I can just throw this in my bag, and then I'm set for, if I get sport weight sock yarn, I'm good to go. If I have fingering weight, I'm good to go. So, all the things that I need to knit socks.
You knit sport weight socks on 1.5s?
Yes.
That just breaks my heart.
I know, it does mine too. It's very, very sad. Whoa, cakes. I like it if you don't tighten them enough. There is a little, like, so I guess it's dependent on how, 2 things. So it's the red cord,
mm-hmm.
and it's a skinnier one, so it's got a little bit more floppiness to it than, like, your twist set has.
Because my twist set is size US 2 to 8, and the cord is actually interwoven with metal, some sort of, like, carbon fiber or aluminum or something, I don't know.
And there's a bigger size set, too.
Like 9 to 15s or something.
And they all range in the, like, $70 range, I feel like. So the join, there's, like, a little bit, especially if you don't tighten it tight enough, there's that little, like, tick on the join, you know, where when you move the stitches over, it's not
perfectly smooth.
It's not perfectly smooth, but no interchangeable set, I feel like, is perfectly smooth.
Not when it goes down to that size.
Yeah, once it's, I mean, because you can see it's got that little difference between the cord size and the needle size, but it's really pretty good. Also, when I pull on it, when I get to the end of the row, I pull like this, so I'm actually pulling on the cord. It would be a little bit more difficult, I think, if I was like trying to go this way, versus just pulling through on the cord. So I'm a cord puller. If you're a needle pusher, it might be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, I'm a cord puller too.
So that is my little mini review of Chai Gu. So I've done 2 socks, well, 1.5 socks on them so far. I'm enjoying them. And I'm magic looping with a 32-inch
So
cable.
where are you on sock number 2? You didn't tell us that.
Oh, I just turned the heel. And I am
going toe up.
Yeah, I'm always going toe up. I am working my way up the leg. So I'm on the second of the purple, like the purple double repeats because of the heel. So I just finished with that second purple. So I'm on the green decomp there. So I've got there to do by tomorrow. But guess what? I did this whole thing today.
Yeah.
So, because all but the toe. I did the toe yesterday, and then I took a 14-hour nap, and I did. Um, and so there wasn't a lot of crafting that got done yesterday, but
That's
I'm good
okay.
now. And that was a very long explanation, an 11-minute long explanation of the one thing that I'm working on. So
You
you,
really make it work. You
I
really
do.
drag it
Look at
out.
my cute. I've got a panda and cat bag that Lynn made for
That's
me.
super sweet. Mine is panda, but it's got a different interior that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Anyway,
Okay, so I have several things I'm working on.
I want to see them all because you've got like I have total shawl envy. I feel like I've been stuck in this sock hole for the past. But I did baby knits too. But I
Yeah.
really just want to knit all the shawls, and
Yeah.
I got to finish some socks
I've
first.
been like cleaning up my Ravelry library, making sure all the patterns that I actually have in my Ravelry library because I'm really finicky about picking new projects and
Yeah,
being
you are.
able to just click a button in the pattern search that says find me a pattern that's actually in my library so I don't have to buy it.
Whereas I'm like, find me a buy me now
Find me
pattern.
something pretty.
Yeah, I like that pattern and buy it.
It's like Google. Are you feeling lucky?
I'm always
Um,
feeling lucky.
okay. So remember how we had this like 10-minute long conversation last week about the band of my sweater?
Yeah,
So I was going to do an
I still don't know what's going on with your
okay.
sweater.
So I was going to do an I-cord edge
Yeah.
to keep it from rolling.
Yes.
I did about 10 inches of an I-cord edge and didn't like it
Okay.
because the yarn is so thick, it's a worsted weight, that
Uh-huh.
that I actually curled inward just a little bit because it was 3 stitches instead of 2. I tried 2 and it didn't look right. And anyway, I knit and ripped 4 different bands for this.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, I couldn't
So what
find.
did you finally
I
decide?
tried the I-cord.
Yeah.
I tried the garter. I even did a knitted hem, like a turned hem,
Yeah.
because I thought, well, if I do a turned hem and then I tack it down, that should help it lay flat. And it might if the inside part of that hem was like 3 inches deep. But
Yeah.
because it was only like an inch and a half deep, it just flipped out. It made me crazy.
So what are you gonna
So what
do?
I decided to do
Okay.
is not be so neurotic and just do what Hohi did in the pattern.
There you go.
And if I had done that from the beginning, I would have probably had the entire sweater finished by now. But I didn't.
Oh, pudding.
So basically what I did was I kept the length from where I had done the turned hem. I'll
Okay.
show you. Because when you do a turned hem, you knit X number of rows, you do a purl ridge row, and then you knit another X number of rows, and then you tack it down. And so I kept that purl row because I figured that'll actually stop the rolling at that point where that purl ridge is.
Uh-huh.
So it won't roll all the way into the edging of the sweater, which is not the case at the moment because it hasn't been blocked at all. But so it's too big basically to show you the whole thing.
So can I ask you a question?
Am I going to be upset and frustrated with
No,
this question?
no. I don't think so. Now I'm doubting myself. So, what's your final? It doesn't have buttons or anything.
No,
Okay.
it's just held together with like a shawl pin, or you can wear it open. Or
Could you put a green ribbon on the flip side, like underneath that ribbon?
I thought about that as well, but
Mhm.
my concern is that it would have to be a really wide ribbon again
Mhm.
because of the way so the collar is ruched, like I showed you, which is
Oh,
brilliant,
yeah.
by the way, but there's still like 3 inches after that ruching.
Mhm.
So because you still got that and it wants to flip, it's going to take the rest of the band with it and want
Mhm.
to flip unless the depth, like the width of the grosgrain or the turned hem or whatever, is greater than the height of the collar past the ruching. Yeah, see, so you got like 3 inches past the ruching of pattern of like stockinette. I think it's still going to be fine. It's got to be blocked out, but
Yeah, if you don't
um,
like it, you can always try that after the fact. You can just pin it into place and see.
or I can just give it away at SSK like I've done to several sweaters. Um,
Sure.
so it's still rolling right now. It hasn't been blocked at all. It still will roll when it's blocked, but not quite as severely. So it's the meat of the sweater is done.
Okay.
I've just got to do the sleeves, and I decided that, the 20 plus hours I spent on this week was enough, and I was done with it for this week. I will touch it again
Yeah.
next week.
So what kinds of sleeves are you putting on it?
I'm following the pattern, but I'm only going to do half sleeves,
Okay.
primarily because at work I generally wear like solid color long sleeve shirts,
Uh-huh.
and so this can go over pretty much any color that I wear anyway. I
Yeah.
usually wear, neutrals or
Oh, that ruching detail would be a really cute sleeve detail too.
ooh, it would. Like right above the elbow.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
I don't know that it's smart, but I feel like there's another sweater, like a Ysolda Teague, that uses a ruching.
There might be. I mean, I know there's a Susan B. Anderson hat or something that uses it.
Yes, that's one of my favorite hats. It's in a hat book. Now I'm not going to remember which one.
She does a pleated one too that's really cute. So, okay, so that's Evenflow by Joji Locatelli. It's out of Mustache Yarn's Sweater Girl in the Queen of Hearts colorway. And then the second thing I'm working on is, I worked on Nuvum for a little while this week.
Oh, that's going to be good.
Not a whole lot, but this is what's left of the third cake. It's finger
How many
yarn.
total cakes did you have?
I've got 6, but I probably will only use 4 because it's still going to be gigantic because they're fingering weight versus the lace that it calls for.
Yeah.
So, I want to say I did, it's like about an inch or so from the last marker. Not a lot, but I knit on it while we watched Game of Thrones and something else yesterday. So my husband has turned into a Game of Thrones freak. Like
Does he watch podcasts too about
Yes, and he like reads the online community about what might happen next week, and he'll come in, and when I'm trying to read a book or something, he'll start talking about how Jon Snow might end up being the long lost brother of Daenerys Targaryen, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm sure he feels the same way when we talk about knitting.
I'm sure.
RuPaul's Drag Race.
So I try to, oh yeah, that's cool. Remind me who that is again? Like, I think it's interesting to watch, but no. He doesn't read fiction.
Would he listen to like audio?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But anyway, so this is Nuvum. It looks like nothing right now. It's going to be a big, giant, flat shawl. I'm knitting it on size 5.
Rectangular-ish, right?
Yeah, like a stretch hexagon.
Okay.
I'm knitting it in fingering weight instead of lace weight. This is Plucky's Classics Funny Affair at Tiffany's. It's discontinued, so you can't buy it anymore. Sorry, it was in the stash. So
what's the total yardage that you're supposed to have for that?
Let me click the link in the show notes and see, because I have no idea. It calls for 1,700-ish.
Okay.
Yards. A skein of Volmisa lace.
Okay. Because I'm spinning for an even star eventually, but if I decide I don't want to do an even star, I think a hand spun Nuvum would be pretty as well.
It would be. I also think like a hand spun Shetland shawl.
A Hap shawl
would be lovely.
That Hap book that Kate Davies is coming out with. Oh, I want them all.
Yeah, and she's releasing teaser photos very slowly. Like,
it's one a day.
It feels very slow.
There's some lovely stuff in there.
Yes. All right. So the other thing that I just started today, I had to want 12 individual little skeins for.
You're amazing.
This is I can do this for an hour.
I would totally have made Kobe do that for an hour.
Yeah, but then I would have spent 3 detangling. So,
yeah.
I started the Inara wrap, which is another of Amba O'Brien's absolutely lovely shawls. That's the only picture that I have handy, but it's basically, here, it's like a stole, but it's on a bias.
Ooh.
These are just the schematics for the different sizes. I don't know if this was part of the Chroma collection. I don't think it was. But I
She
bought.
still has more coming out in the
Yes,
current
there's
collection.
only like 3 or 4 out of the 6, I think, that are
Wow.
coming. So I purchased a gradient set from Wool Silk Lace, which is overseas. I didn't even realize that when I purchased it, but it's overseas. And these are the colors. So it's very similar to what's in the pattern. It's not the
So do you
actual.
use two gradients with it?
Yes.
Oh.
Use 2 different but
Interesting.
coordinated gradients, and you use them sort of at the same time. So I've only finished 1 repeat out of 12. And this is a fingering weight. The yarn that I got is a wool merino blend. Sorry, it's because it's lace and it's not blocked. It's trying to curl in on me. But I just started it, and I started it with the darkest colors first. So each section is bordered by, it starts with the blue bordering the darker grays. And
You're
then
gonna
you've
have
got
a
this
million ends to weave in.
lace section. Probably not as many as I did on my finished object for this
Really?
week. But I'm doing the biggest one, so it's wide. It's probably 16, 18 inches wide right now.
It's gorgeous.
The yarn is actually really nice to work with. This is one entire repeat. I'm about to pick up the next shade in the blue to do the next color. And then as I get to the other end, it'll be black framing this blue. And
Oh, so it reverses.
yeah.
Ooh.
So you use really all of it. This is all that's left of the black, and I'll have to get 4 rows out of it on the other end, which should work, I hope. Anyway, so yes, that's the other thing that I'm working on. Hang on one second. Kobe, what are you doing, dear? Michael is cooking dinner. I'm not. Sweetheart. I'm recording, so go talk to Michael. All right. Sorry, the lights are warmer than I remember them being.
How warm is it there?
It's like in the 80s, but the issue is that I got a sweatshirt on.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
All right.
It's 90 here,
Oof.
but I do not have a sweatshirt on. And I have a fan going.
You don't have any finished object,
I
right?
do not.
All right, so I do, and it's gigantic.
I cannot wait to see this.
I sort of kind of measured it by folding it in half and holding it against my height, and it comes to here on me folded in half. So it's 10 feet long.
That's amazing.
That being said, I will preface it by saying I used a larger gauge yarn than it called for. It calls for a sport, and I used a DK. I also extended it more than the pattern called for. So I knew that it was going to be longer than the pattern calls for. Let's see what the pattern says that it would be.
Cannot wait to cast this on.
So it says, the pattern says that the finished wingspan is 118 inches. Let's use our calculator. 118 divided by 12. So yeah, it's almost 10 feet.
Yeah.
Is what the pattern says that it would be. And the deepest that it gets is 17 inches.
Okay.
So I have woven in the ends but not cut them, just because I forgot. But it has been blocked, so I'm going to stand up.
Man, how am I going to block something? How did you block it if it's 10 feet long?
I laid out the top edge along my deck, and then I took cotton thread and wove it through parts of it, through the end, through like the edge and around the railing,
Oh.
so that it would hold it flat. Because desperate times. All right, so let's see.
Because I think the most I can do with my 2 blocking boards is 8 foot.
All right,
but
so
I have the little, like, other things.
the
that I
foam
can...
blocks, yeah.
Yeah.
So it starts out with this pink, and then it goes to the darker black and lighter grays and into the pinks, and then I added these extra colors here because I wanted to use up bits of the gradient. So I extended it, and it goes down here. And so if I fold it in half, and touching the floor, it goes to there. Only. Um,
That'll be fun though. I love big squishy
it
shawls.
smells delicious. I washed it in Tuft Woolens, the Blueberry Lemonade SSK scent from last year. And yeah, it's freaking enormous. And it's going to be super lovely and warm for me to wear this winter.
You look like an elefante.
I could actually probably wrap it like they do, gosh, what are those wraps called? Where you wrap it behind your back, you go across and you wrap it behind. I can't remember what those are called, but anyway, yes, that's Celadon. It was part of the Chroma collection, is part of the Chroma collection by Amba O'Brien, who is my current accessories crush. I think that's it. God, awesome. I hope that's it, because I'm sweating.
Well, I've been spinning.
Oh, good.
You've been spinning this
only
too.
A little, and I didn't bring it down.
Well, I've only been spinning a little too. So last time we spoke, I had finished one bobbin of the fluff colorway. This is a superwash targi, and it's the first time I've ever spun a superwash targi. So it's really fun. I think I like it better than superwash merino, to be honest with you. And I also spun the second bobbin. The third is on the wheel right now. I just put it on the wheel. So hopefully by tomorrow I will be plying a 3-ply. So I have something to count for stash dash. Because my stash dash right now is a big old 0. But this is being spun on my Lendrum upright. And the third bobbin I'm using is an Acreworks yellow and black Steelers bobbin, which is super exciting. So that is what's going on right now with spinning. I also on the Shocked Reeves, I finished spinning that bat, the Into the World bat that I had started spinning, and I couldn't fit it all on that bobbin. I finished the rest of it on a second bobbin, and now I'm spinning the purple that I'm going to ply it with. So that is also on the wheel. I'm hoping to get a pound done this week, like finished, because I also want to do, I'm going to spin for our Patreon winner. I have some Paul Worth from Southern Cross Fiber that I'm going to spin up for that. So I'd like to get a pound spun this week. We'll see. I'm off, so I have nothing else to do. Like, this is my week. I told my boss at work, like, I'm not going, like, I have a lot that I could be doing at work. I could go in and work during the summer for sure. But I'm taking till Thursday off, for sure. So, I'm not going out besides for groceries and to run errands. I'm staying at home and reading and doing what I want. Yard work, too.
They're not the boss of you this week, huh?
No one's the boss of me till Thursday. Which is nice, except for me and Humberto. So, there is that. We do have several questions from Astronaut. So, she's got lots of questions for us today. She says, Laura, and this is actually a better Leslie question than a better Laura question. Do you know if there's a way to search patterns or projects for body types? My body type is close to yours, and it seems like it'd be a useful way to go digging for things. I wish there was on Ravelry. I'll tell you what I do. And then Leslie can chime in, because she might have awesome other ways of doing stuff than I do. I find a sweater pattern that I like, and I check the sizes first to see if it goes up to my size, because not all sweaters do.
Yeah.
With different ease requirements, not all of them do. And then if it's got whatever size that I think would be the size that I would like to make, I go into the projects and I search for that size. Mm-hmm. So if it's 44, I type in 44, or if it's extra large, I type in extra large. And I look at everyone's projects, and I go from there. I say, oh, it looks really good on that body type, but it doesn't look good on my body type. That's a pass. So that's what I do. Do you have a different way of doing stuff, Leslie?
Well, right now there is a feature on Ravelry that allows you to search for plus, but not many designers actually use it. And I think that the designers that do use it when they design specifically for plus. And so a lot of the patterns that go from what I'll say normal size to plus size aren't going to be tagged as plus, because they're applicable for more than that. And so it's just not a tag that a lot of designers use. I basically do the same thing as Laura. I mean, I'll go and find a sweater that looks fantastic and like they're selling you the dream, and you're like, if I can just knit that sweater, then life will be good and everything's going to happen for me.
That will be my lifestyle.
And then you click through the projects and it looks absolutely fantastic on like size 32 to about size 38. And then once it starts getting to larger sizes, some shapes just don't translate well to different, body shapes, and it sucks, yeah. But it's just the truth. You are never going to see me in a peplum cut sweater. It's never going to happen.
No, probably
because
not.
All it's going to do is be like, hey, look at this. It's not something you're ever going to see me in. So, I mean, and I actually find, Laura mentioned how she'll go through and search for the size. So, like, if the sizes are 44, 47, 49, you can search for 47 if that's your size or whatever. But I actually find that the larger the sizes, even if there are 50 people who have knit that size, only maybe 5 of them are going to admit that that's the size that they knit, because it's such a body shaming thing to say I knit a size 49 sweater, so that people just won't put the size in. The bigger they are, the more likely you're not going to see that size listed, it feels like.
Sometimes, yeah.
So sometimes you just have to go through the pages and just look and see and really pay attention, because sometimes a sweater can look unflattering on a bigger person, and it's not necessarily because the sweater looks unflattering. It could just be an unflattering angle or picture. So I would just say cast a really wide net and look at a lot of other Ravelry users' projects for sweaters. The more popular sweaters are going to have more, more to look at to compare.
And you can always there's certain attributes on Ravelry that you can kind of look at too. So for construction, you can say, raglan's probably not the best look for me, or in the round, seamed always looks better on me than in the round. It doesn't mean that I knit seamed, because I don't. But they tend to look better for me, so you can pick that as an option and kind of narrow it down that way as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I will tell you a new feature on Ravelry. Did you know this?
I don't know what the feature is yet.
Okay. So when you go into yarns and you click on yarns and you click on, let's say I click on, so one of the top ones is 4 Seasons Pure Wool 8-ply. Oh, it's not enough. So let's say I found this the other day when I was doing Dream in Color, Mushy or something. One of the Dream in Color yarns. And so I found Classy. So Dream in Color Classy, and you go in, and if you look at Pattern Ideas tab, now you can select how many skeins you have. So you can do categories, and you can narrow that way, but it can require 0 to 1 skeins, and it'll bring up everything that just skein. I thought was super cool.
That is neat, but I never look for patterns that way, because I don't even really consider using the yarn that the pattern calls for. So,
well, if I have like a skein of Classy and I'm like, I have a baby project.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see the use in it. It's just not something that I would necessarily have noticed, although that is a very cool feature.
So that's newish. I haven't seen it before. All right, other questions for the both of us. So, I have a wheel, but I'm still a noob, as it were. Could you please help me understand ratios? Specifically, I have a hard time telling when I should use the big end of the bobbin or the little end, and the big roll or the little roll, and what combination I should be aiming for if my yarn is slippery or sticky, or if I want to do lawn draw, or etc. Okay, this could be a...
Let me give you the short answer, and Laura can give you
it depends on
the
what
right
kind of
answer.
You have to. No, that's not true.
So,
stuff.
In general, in relation to bobbin ends, this is for, not all wheels have bobbins with different sized ends.
That is true. The lender does not.
But some, like the Shocked do, have different sized ends on their bobbins. And the smaller the whirl, or the smaller end of the bobbin, is usually going to translate to finer yarns. Usually. Not always.
We're talking about you're interchanging whirls and ends of bobbins.
I feel like in this particular generality, that is still the case. But again, I am not a super technical knitter. Unless I'm gonna spin a really fine yarn, intentionally gonna spin a really fine yarn, I'm gonna use the fat end of the bobbin and a large whirl. But again, I don't really spin fine often. My happy yarn is big, fat, bulky yarn. So now Laura can tell you what's probably the right answer.
All right, so I'm guessing if you have two different sizes of bobbins, you have a shocked, because that is typically when you have two different sizes of a bobbin. And I want to, I just have Lendrum bobbins right here. So this is a Lendrum bobbin, and both ends are equal, and that's because Lendrums are only...
Here, I have a shocked bobbin.
Okay, that would be super helpful. Lendrums have a separate flyer that has the ratios on them, but also Lendrums are only made to do a specific drive. They are only Scotch tensioned. The shocks are made to do two different types of drives.
So here's the bigger fat end.
Yes.
And this is the thinner end.
So the reason why the shocked bobbins have two different ends is because they have two different drives. One is for double drive, and the other is for Scotch tension. When you use Scotch tension as a tensioning device, you always want to use the bigger end of the bobbin so that the smaller end is facing you. And that's because with Scotch tension, you have a band going over that bigger end. Bigger surface area equals better tensioning for that. When it's in double drive, you flip that bobbin. The smaller end goes as you're tensioning. So that's why the shocked bobbins have two different ends. It has nothing to do with ratios.
I only ever use Scotch, so...
It has to do... You've had your wheel in double.
I had it in double drive, but I only ever use it in Scotch because double drive is so finicky.
It can be.
Your changes have to be minute.
And Leslie's talking about with her matchless.
Right.
The Ladybug can also do double drive. The Sidekick cannot. It's just Scotch tension. I don't know what the flat iron can do. We'll have to play with it and see. So supposedly the flat iron can do Irish tension, as well, and so can the matchless. But I've never played with Irish tension unless it was on Alouettes.
Right.
So, but supposedly those two wheels can do all three. So that has to do with the ends of the bobbin you use. So you use the smaller one with the matchless in double drive, or the Ladybug in double drive. You use the larger end to break in Scotch tension. When it comes to whirls, just a generality with whirls. The smaller the whirl, the more twist it's adding. So just that's basically what whirls do. The smaller they are, the quicker the twist is going in. The larger they are, the less twist is going in. The technical thing with whirls is you can mark your wheel and see how many times the whirl goes around when the wheel goes around, and that tells you, like, that's what that 4-to-1 or 44-to-1 is.
So if I were to pretend that this was just a whirl, right, because it looks like it from this end, right, and pretend this isn't the bobbin, and I measured around the inside of the groove here, and then I measured the size of my drive wheel, the one with the band around it, the main wheel that you're moving when you pedal or treadle. If the ratio is 10-to-1, then for every time that the big wheel goes around once, the bobbin goes around 10 times.
The flyer is going around
right.
10 times.
Well,
so
yeah. So
yes.
That's what the ratios mean. If it's 25-to-1, it's going, this bobbin is moving around 25 times for every one time. Well, the bobbin's on the flyer. You're so technical, and I'm like, I just want it to be pretty.
But the bobbin's not moving.
But it is. It's
like,
on the... I guess it depends on the
moving.
wheel. Sometimes the bobbin's...
Yeah, the bobbin typically does not, because the bobbin's being braked by their double drive Irish.
You take all the fun out of spinning sometimes.
I do. So there are certain fibers that you want more twist with, like cotton. The shorter fibers require more twist to hold together. If you're doing like a big and lofty with a longer staple, you need less twist. So that's where ratios come into play. If you are getting a lot of corkscrews in your yarn, you need to switch your whirl to a higher whirl. If it's drifting apart on you, you need to switch it to a smaller whirl. So
When you say higher whirl, you mean
a
larger?
larger pulley.
Okay.
Or a larger whirl. Well, no. If you want less twist, you go larger. If you want more twist, you go smaller. Does that help clarify, I guess? There you go. And then one last thing.
Astronaut's got a lot of questions.
She does. So she just got a cool academic job.
Oh,
Congratulations.
sweet.
In Puerto Rico. Do either of you have advice or resources about shipping spinning wheels? Do I disassemble my darling ladybug? Is it going to cost me $300? Would I be better off taking it as a checked item and as a plain help? You can't take it as a checked item.
No.
It won't fit. It's too big. Ladybugs are too big to take as checked items. I was talking to Maggie Casey at Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I was asking her if she needed to borrow a wheel for SSK because she's teaching at SSK, and she said she ships her ladybug to every single class that she teaches, and she's never had an issue. She does use the original box. So if you do not have the original box, if there's a dealer near you that sells ladybugs, and someone buys it all, like the floor model, they might have an extra box that they might be willing to sell you or give you. Or you can have someone like UPS or FedEx package it up for you. But
Or you might be able to call Shocked and ask them to send you a
Yeah.
box. I mean, it
Oh,
might
yeah, they
cost
sell
you
a-
$20,
it's
but
$50.
well, I mean, but
Yeah.
if it comes with all the packaging and stuff, then that's, I would say it's worth it.
In the
because
past, it's been $50. You can also, if you have a shop that sells them locally, you can go see how they come packaged, because we don't remember how things come packaged.
No.
And my ladybug was never in a box. I bought a floor model. So you can go from there and see how it is packaged and kind of, but it shouldn't cost you $300 to ship it, I wouldn't think. Because I don't think Maggie Casey would be shipping it to all her classes
I
if
agree.
it cost her $300 every time.
I would say spring for the insurance.
Yeah, definitely.
Twice whatever the wheel cost, because that insurance might cost you an extra $20 or something, but I would rather pay the extra $20 and, be able to cover the cost of a new wheel.
And I
plus
would
some.
ship it versus having it checked. I've heard horror stories of wheels being checked on planes versus shipped.
Yeah, oh crap, I'm purling when I should be knitting. This is what happens when I don't pay attention. Damn you, astronaut.
That's kind of mean.
She watches our show. She comments very
Quite a bit,
frequently.
yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, I can't say because I have no personal experience, but hearing that Maggie Casey ships hers every week or every time she travels to an event,
It's around once a month.
that's pretty high praise. I mean,
Yeah. So it might be worth ordering the box from Shock.
Yeah.
It might be something to consider. Seeing if someone local has one that isn't going to use one might be worthwhile. So, all
Yeah.
thoughts. But you won't be able to take it on, carry on unless, I don't know.
I don't think a ladybug. Unless you buy it a seat, I don't see how you could carry it on. I would avoid disassembling it if you could, but
I would definitely avoid disassembling the lady. Well, the ladybug doesn't really come apart either. It slides apart at the middle beam, but only enough to really get the band through.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not one that I would totally disassemble. So there's that. Okay. We have a book to review. I'm super excited.
oh, we do. I'm picking back 10 stitches, so start talking about the book.
Okay. This is one that I purchased, that we both purchased. It's Knit Superheroes by Rebecca Danger, because we are such a fan of Rebecca Danger.
Yeah.
She does the cutest stuffed animals. They're really well written. I've knit numerous ones of her patterns before, and this is all knit superheroes. So the inspiration for this, she has two young boys, and I could totally see the inspiration coming from them. And in this book, there are 12 animals, 12 superhero animals. So there's a raccoon, and the table of contents all has pictures of them.
Yeah.
A lion.
Clickable pictures, which
a
I
cow.
always appreciate. And they all have, like, really interesting and subversive names and biographies.
Yes.
Which is very Rebecca.
A dachshund, a giraffe.
Harry
I love the
Elefante.
elephant. Yes. A hippo. Um, an elephant.
It's Harry Elefante.
I know. I don't know what the next one is. What is he?
The black squirrely,
Okay.
Tiberius tiger,
The
Samson
lamb.
sheep, and Landon Ludwig the Wonder Kid.
And then there's the kid. So, some really, really cool things. They all have their own little personalities. Did you
Hmm.
notice what the yarn is that she used?
I did. So she uses two primary yarn brands in the book, and it totally just flipped on me.
Koboski by Skacel, which is a cotton elastic bamboo silk yarn, and
Hmm.
then another crafty girl, Marina Worsted, and
Yeah.
we love Sarah. We love her yarns. I love that she used an indie dye as well. And she said you can, you don't have to buy every single skein brand new. You
Hmm.
can,
It's great for scraps.
yes.
Um,
She's got some great photo tutorials at the front.
yeah, and I love that. So she talks a little bit about gauge, but basically she says, pick yarn and needles, knit a little bit. If you can see through the stitches, it's too loose. If it's hurting your hands, it's too tight. Otherwise, it's great. Like, she's
Yeah.
not real rigid on that, which is always good. And the way that the patterns are designed, it's not a lot of little pieces. She knits as
No.
much of it in one piece as she can, so
She
that
picks up as
right.
you can.
So like you knit the legs and then you join the legs to create the body, and
Yep.
it's in as few pieces as possible because she doesn't like seaming either. So
So we talked about how each of the characters have their own personalities, and there's Randolph the raccoon, and
mhm.
his superhero power is making chocolate bars appear. Doesn't always help him fight crime, but he certainly makes friends easily.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah. Then she's got the next one is Lucky Lancelot. Um, let's see. He generally scares most folks out of whatever they are doing. And he's got a cute little tool belt. I love his little tool belt with the little. Ah, I clicked the wrong thing. Yeah. I love the way that she did the mane on him as well.
Then there's an Alberto alligator, and my nieces are obsessed with alligators right now, so I think they might need this. And his superpower is a siren song that can distract even the nastiest of supervillains, but it comes with a catch. His superpower works only with Elvis songs. So
Yeah.
he's an Elvis impersonator. He won't let anyone step on your blue suede shoes, and he can get super villains all shook up. So,
You've got
really, really funny, fun things.
Dixon the Dachshund, who found a pair of underpants in the street, took them home and washed them, and then put them on, and he could fly.
There you go.
So they all have really great, funny little biographies. I love the little detail with his little magic underpants where you can fit his tail through.
Yes.
Super cute.
So lots and lots of super fun things in this book. If you have a child in your life that loves superheroes at all or loves Hannah animals, Rebecca has fabulous books, and this is really, really fun. She also has got the 50 yards or less book, which is
Hmm.
a ton of fun, and some other great books as well. So Monster Nursery, the Big Book of Monsters. So lots and lots of great things.
You got
I think
this is my favorite,
oh,
Harry
the
Elefante. His superpower is that he can charm anyone.
You know who that would be perfect for? You know whose favorite animal is an elephant? Becca.
Oh,
And she's having a little one. That
that's
would be a
true.
perfect present. Anyway, lots and lots of fun stuff in here and very adjustable on sizes if depending on the weights of the yarn that you use. That you make them huge or small or just right. So that is I'm never gonna get you off this book.
I love it because like the
It's
detail
so
of the sheep,
cute.
he's got like gym
Yeah.
shorts and gym shoes and his cape. It's so cute. I just love it.
And I love that it's
Yeah.
superheroes. So that is Knit Superheroes by Rebecca Danger. I
Hmm.
think we paid like $12 each for the Kindle copy, something along
Yeah.
there. And there's also a paperback copy as well. So we liked it enough to purchase it. So definitely check it out.
Yeah.
And that's Knit Superheroes by Rebecca Danger. So I've been reading a lot because I'm now off work and I actually have time to read. But you've been reading a lot too. So would you like to go first or would you like me to go
Actually,
first?
I didn't even update this
Oh,
because it's all from last week. I have been on call this week, and I've gotten several calls every single day, and most of what I have been reading are just things I'm rereading that I already had in my library.
okay.
So I don't really have anything new to mention. I did download a new audiobook, but I haven't even started it yet. So it's all you.
I read Marked in Flesh by Anne Bishop. That was the most recent in that series. It's kind of an otherworld
I've
horror series.
downloaded that, but I haven't read it yet.
It's good. It's one of my favorite well, it's my favorite horror. I really think it's more horror. When you call humans flesh
It
to
can
be
be,
eaten.
yeah, it is a little brutal. And we've talked about this series before because I read it for the first time, I want to say like 6 or 8 months ago.
So I think this is number 4. Still enjoying the series. It's one of those series that you cannot get attached to major characters
No,
because, or minor characters, or anyone because it is not a kind
yeah.
world that they reside in.
But it's like shifters and
Vampires
vampires.
and elementals
Mm-hmm.
for sure, and Cassandras, which are people who can see the future, seers, but they can only see the future by cutting. So
Yeah,
it's a really, really interesting but often gruesome world
yeah.
that she's created. I also read Shadowbound by Beck McMaster. I've read her steampunk stuff in the past. This was a new series. It's very kind of like 18th century London, paranormal magicians. There's like a Morgan Le Fay character who's gone terribly wrong. So it's interesting. It's not. It's more of a get from your library. I purchased it. I think it was only like $5 because I've liked her previous stuff, but it's okay. Um, I get emails from one of the crafting companies, one of the story publishing, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and they sent me an email that had "Your Idea Starts Here" by Carolyn Eckert. It is like an idea generating book, so it's an inspiration. Like these are some things to think about, and that spawns new ideas. And it's kind of like a journaling book. So I've been kind of playing with that. And then Alana Andrews has an Innkeeper series. The first 2 have been published, and those are free. Oh, you scared me.
Did you put out the third one?
Well, it's on her blog in pieces, so she puts out a new chapter every week.
I can't do it that way. I have to wait until
Oh,
it's all like I no.
well, I thought it was almost all done,
Did
so
I
I
scare
started
you with my
reading
guess?
it.
I loved that series. Like I like a lot of what Alana writes, but that Innkeeper series just really is great for me.
So all of them are available for free on her blog if you want to read through them, but or you can pay. I think it's like 2.99
Yeah, it's really reasonable,
to
whatever the
get.
price is.
And I appreciate the fact that they do fan generated books a lot, and they give spoilers a lot on their blog. And free chapters and stuff like that. And the wife, it's a wife husband
Hmm.
team. She's a knitter. So I fully support her and all her and her family and all their endeavors. And so I always purchase them after they come out. I
Yeah.
purchase all her short stories. They have her and Gordon have a ton of great short stories. They have a ton of great books. So that's one, all of her series, I'm always in first in line to get. And I was re-listening to the Edge series,
Hmm.
and I was just, I've listened to it multiple times, and actually, people from the Edge series appear in the Innkeeper series, the second book. And so I went on my public library site, and they actually had Burn for Me also as an audiobook, which is a great series as well. Only the first one's out. So I'm re-listening to Burn for Me as well.
I
So
do
I'm
that
reading.
with books I really like. I'll reread them or
Oh,
re-listen.
do that all the time. So I'm reading the third Innkeeper series for free on their blog, and I'll purchase it once it comes out.
You have to tell me when it comes out
Okay.
because I'll buy it. I have no
It's on
qualms about buying it.
it's on chapter 7 right
But
now.
like I have to, I can't wait a week between chapters. I need to be able to.
It's really good. I'm enjoying it. It's so good.
And it's
Anyway,
not like there's anything. I mean, it's not super paranormal necessarily. It's I would say it's
It's
about
more
half
like
that, half
sci-fi.
contemporary,
It's
but
sci-fi.
it's just really good. And the female protagonist is kind of a badass, and I like
She
that.
is. I like that their female protagonists are always pretty much badass.
Yeah,
There are no shrieking violets
yeah.
in their stories. Like their characters always have a lot of depth. They do say that these are not proofreads, so if that bothers you, you need
Mm,
to wait till the final comes out.
yeah.
And like, it's funny. It'll be like, oh, last week we said this innkeeper was from someplace else in Texas, but we realized that he's in the previous book he was from Dallas. So just so you know, there's a continuity error. I never pick up on continuity errors. Like Stuart Gibbs, when I met him, was talking about like a kid told him that in the first book, this character's eyes were blue, and in this one, it's gray. I would never pick up on that. The kids always do. It's amazing, but and that's why I would be a terrible editor. So the continuity editor for sure. But I'm really enjoying the third Innkeeper book.
That's good. I'm glad to hear.
To regret not reading it right now.
I'm not. I'm sorry. I've got it like the second book in one of my favorite fantasy. So Grace Draven writes.
Yeah, I've read her books.
Yeah, I sent you one to borrow. It's
Yeah,
sort
they're
of
like
a paranormal fantasy. She wrote
she
the.
gives off the she does like Beauty and the Beast. She does
Yes, there
fairy
was
tale
one called
based.
Entreat Me. There's
Did she give a
one,
new one?
The Master of Crows, which I've read several times. She's got some short stories, but yes, there's a new one, which
Ooh,
was the second. Radiance was the first one, and it was one
mhm.
where a normal human woman married. I can't forget what they're called, but their skin is dark, like gray, and they see better at
Yeah.
night. But they're essentially human, but they look different. The first book I've read at least 3 times, and the second book just came out. So
You must have loaned that one to me
it
because
might have been.
I
I
haven't
loaned you
read
Master
it.
of Crows. I'm pretty sure, but
Saying that I don't own that one. That's interesting.
yeah. But anyway, I love Grace Draven. She's one that I follow on Amazon. So as soon as a new book comes out, I know about it.
Yeah.
Which is a really neat feature if you don't know on Amazon. If you really like an author, you can click their
I like them.
name and you
Yeah.
can follow them. And then Amazon sends emails a few times a week that says,
Yeah.
oh, hey, this author put out a new book. I just have to be careful because I filter a lot of my emails. So, like, a lot of it goes to my promotions tab, and I have to skim through that and see if there's any, like, relevant. Because Amazon will send me several things a week. And so I just have to look for the ones that are actually relevant. Anyway, I feel like I've talked like that forever. What
Now
else?
you loaned me that one because I bought Master of
Okay.
Colors.
All right.
Anyway,
Well, I just bought Eidolon, which is the second. So I'll read that in the next couple days and let you know if it's good.
okay, do it because I'll then rebuy. I'll buy Radiance if it's good, and then reread that, or I'll see if my library has it because sometimes they do.
Yeah.
All right, favorite things. Stash Dash has started.
Yes. And
It's
Laura
amazing.
has already been checking out the social media, which I like to do that. Like, I'll click the Stash Dash 2016 hashtag, and there's already over 500. Like, Laura said
Yeah,
over 600 actually.
yeah, on Instagram. I love
Posts.
looking through that,
And
and
it's
I've
only,
been
like, Stash Dash has
reposting a
only been
little bit
alive for 4 days, 3 days, something like that.
since Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, people tag it before talking about the prep, but still, I feel like that's impressive to have that
Oh,
many
so
tags
for sure.
already.
And we have a very active chatter thread, and now the finish line posts are up, so you can post whenever. Our friend Jessica was in, where is she, Sweden, and she posted
Stockholm, yeah.
and she posted in the finish line thread to save her place. So there's different ways of doing Stash Dash, and the most important thing is to make it your own and have fun with it.
Yeah.
So that is going on. We have a spin along, knit along that will start.
Wednesday?
Yeah, June 1st. So I have that prepped to spin. I'm super excited about that. We will be at TNNA,
Yep.
the 10th and the 11th in DC, which is going to be super fun.
Yep.
I'm going to check out all the new things coming out. We have a Juliana's Fiber, this gorgeous skein of yarn to give away.
Oh, that's so pretty. And somebody posted in our episode thread last week with
It
that.
beamed up.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's really gorgeous.
Stuff.
All right, so I'm going to pull up the random number generator, and you tell me what numbers I'm picking between.
You are picking between 2 and 232.
All right, so
And she's got a lot of gorgeous stuff.
between 2 and 232, and I have not pushed the button. And the number, 229.
Ooh.
So those last minute entrants.
Yes. Oh, it's Siberian Cat.
Oh, cool. That's her name is Leslie,
she's
right?
knit with Juliana's yarn before, and it's wonderful. She likes the carousel sparkle pink. It's Penny.
Oh, Penny.
Yep.
There's somebody.
So she's super sweet.
Oh, okay.
She's been in our group for a long time. So
Lots
that's
of years.
exciting.
Congratulations, Penny. So
Yeah, so send me a PM with your address, and I will shoot this off to you. For sure, other things that we have going on. I took a last-minute trip to the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival at my knit group on Wednesday. I was like, hey, anyone want to go to Middle Tennessee? Because it's around a 3-hour drive each way. And Eloise and Gail said, sure. So they came with me, and I drove, and we went on Friday because Eloise had casino plans on Saturday. So, well, Richard had casino plans on Saturday, so I went on Friday and with them, and it was very busy for a Friday show, I thought. It's only a Friday-Saturday event. There was a class I actually wanted to take, but that was at like 8 a.m. on Friday, and I was not going to leave my house at 5 to get there. But I did purchase some fun goodies. I went by a lot of different booths and saw a lot of cool things, but I did see someone brand new to me, and I'm going to show you her stuff, because it is UV black light sensitive, so this glows under a black light.
Fancy.
And her name is Gwen Spins.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't heard of her.
Colorway. And it's a rainbow gradient, and you can see it under a black light, and it's 4.4 ounces for $23, so that was extremely reasonable. And here is her card. She also had dryer balls and yarn and all sorts.
Okay, that logo of that sheep is adorable.
And her husband was helping her, and he was trying to explain spinning to me, and was the cutest thing ever. And then I went by Rain, of Rain's Obsessive Stitchery, and she had some gorgeous new fiber. But I still haven't spun what I bought from her before, but I got some neon stitch markers.
Oh, cool. I can never have enough of those.
I know, I love these things. And I was obviously on a neon kick, so. Then I swung by Unplanned Peacock, and she gave me a bag. She was giving everyone who purchased over $25 worth of stuff this cool bag.
Oh, neat.
So, I got from her something for me and something for Leslie. So I saw this colorway in the silk.
Well, that's pretty.
I'm not a fan of silk, so I got this one for Leslie.
What is the color?
It is shimmer.
Oh.
And it's white with like these pops of pink and an orange, like a rust and like a green, and it's really, really blues in there. It's really, really pretty. And this is her 50 silk 50 merino blend. It's 430 yards. She has like 15 different blends of yarn.
Oh, neat.
And she had this knit up into a shawl that was absolutely gorgeous. So I got that for you.
Cool.
And I really liked that colorway. So she had it, the only other base she had it on was a singles. So this is her kinky sock.
That is a great base name.
This one's for me. It's a single of Superwash Merino. Very similar to the Mad Tosh
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
light. So this one's for me. So this is the same colorway on 2 different bases.
Yeah, silk definitely lightens up the saturation color.
So it's super fun. So this one's mine. I get the kinky, and Leslie gets the silk. And then she donated for an SSK door prize some of the silk in her ruby colorway.
Ooh, that's pretty too.
Yeah, she had so many. She had an Aran weight, she had a worsted, she had DK, she had sport, she had all sorts of different things. And that is Unplanned Peacock Studio.
That's
Absolutely gorgeous. And her mom was helping her in her booth and was the sweetest thing ever.
That's great.
She also had like a calico cat colorway that I was in love with, but I was getting so much stuff. And then I went by Luna Bud and got one of her smoothie bats and some spinning wheel oil because I'm almost out. But this is Luna Bud. She's out of Kentucky and she does gorgeous bats. So I got this
Ooh,
bag.
pretty.
And then she had some really cool tea towels and bags in her booth. And I just love this print. And I
Yeah.
resist the bag. There was like an oilcloth, really big bag. So I got the tea towel, and this is from Ulster Weavers. And they had mugs and bags, and she had some stuff, and then Susan also had some stuff. And this is called the Dotty Sheet Print. So this won't go at all with my red kitchen, and I don't care because it's super fun.
Yeah.
And when I was over at Susan's fiber shop, I tried. She had all the Masha crafts there, but the Aura. Well, she had a rose, and now I'm not going to remember the name of it.
The Pioneer.
And the travel wheel. Oh, I also got fiber from Unplanned Peacock. It's got glitter in it. It makes me super happy. Apparently, I'm on a pink kick.
Apparently.
This is a superwash merino nylon sparkle silk blend. So this is gonna be socks for me. I'm super excited about that. Anyway, I got to try out a Pioneer for the first time. You don't see Pioneers very often because they're the low end of the Masha Craft wheels. Most Masha Craft wheels have it so you can change the drive band on the wheel as a ratio device, but also on a ratio. And the Pioneer does not have that. It just has the ratio on the back. Also, I guess this is fairly common with the Pioneers. On the smallest whirl, it kicks off the drive band. So that was not a wheel for me. It's got a delta orifice, so I was really looking at it for art yarn spinning.
I think do all the Masha crafts have delta orifices?
I feel like they do, but when you can change out kits, so you can buy different head kits, and like the lace kit, I think.
Okay.
But they sell different. Like, I'm not completely certain about Masha crafts just because I don't have experience with them, but also because they have a ton of accessories that you can switch things out with. So there's a lot of different. I know the Aura uses different bobbins that have like a hole in them that the other ones don't. And Masha crafts tend to be fairly pricey wheels. The Pioneer is the cheapest. It's in the 600, 650 range, I feel like. And they go up the Aura now is like 1,300. So that's their art yarn wheel. So they're interesting wheels. I just don't know a lot about them. I've tried a Rose before in the past and really liked it. They also have Susie, and then there's a Susie Alpaca, which they don't make anymore. But there's a Susie Pro. There's different, like, there's a lot of different varieties that have similar names. So, and different heads that you can switch out. And because the ratios are also on the wheel and on the whirl, it's interesting. But you can actually swivel the heads on them too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, see, that's just too much fancy for me.
And you can boil the bobbins. The bobbins are plastic, and you can actually, like,
Fricky does that, yeah.
Yes.
Fricky, however you say it.
So it was really interesting to try new wheels. I did not buy any wheels there.
Yeah, Laura sent me a picture of her trying out the Pioneer, and I was like, you have got a problem.
But I didn't buy it.
You didn't, but...
But I like trying new things.
You do.
So, you never know. So that was interesting. And we'll try the new Shocked wheel at TNNA, I have a feeling. Again, we've tried it once, but we'll really put it through its paces at TNNA.
It was hard to really spend any time with it at Maryland because there were so many people. But
yeah, there always are. I've been listening to 2 new podcasts. Well, new to me podcasts. They've been out for a little while. The first is the Stranded podcast. It is a video cast. It's done by Amy Florence. She is British and has the cutest accent ever. And she's a yarn dyer and just dyes gorgeous yarns. But she's on episode 9, and I just want to put her in my pockets. So she is tons of fun, and you should definitely check out her podcast. And then Cultivate and Create podcast is by Mrs. Shu. It's an audio podcast. She was part of another video cast, and she's got a new job, so they kind of separated ways.
Yeah, I remember the other podcast, sort of, but...
Okay. So this one is audio, and it's really short. I think the 2 episodes I listened to are around 20 minutes each. And it's more about the creative process, but she also talks about her job now is, I actually use these people sometimes. she works for a company that creates lists for libraries, basically. So
Oh,
if I say I am opening a new library, I have $50,000 to spend, help me spend it on quality
right.
books. She's one of the people that creates those lists.
That's cool.
I'm a little bit too anal to use those people. Like I like selecting each and every book, but I've also not had to open a new library. Like when I get
Right.
a budget, it's like I've got $500,
Yeah,
so
where you can handpick them.
I don't need people to help me with that. So that's lots of fun. We need to thank our Patreon supporters,
Yes.
and we need to do a drawing for hands. It's the end of the month.
It is, but I don't have the worksheet ready, so we will
Okay, so let's
draw.
do it
But
next
I
week.
can show you the yarn because I did.
Okay.
I did start packing up parts of my stash, and as I intentionally put this to the side because this is the one that I was mentioning last week that I wanted to give away. Because I don't see a lot of this type of yarn done. So this is Knitter's Nightmare, which is Sadie of
Oh,
Knitter's Nightmare. She has a podcast as well called Yarnivore.
I think she does a floss tube cast, doesn't she? Does she do just a cross stitch cast
I don't
too?
know.
I don't know.
I haven't watched podcasts in full stop right there for a long time. I just haven't had time.
Yeah.
So I can't answer that
I'm off
question.
now, so I'm watching all the podcasts
Good,
that I
so that
possibly
one of us can be in the know because
Yeah.
I feel like we should be. But so this is Knitter's Nightmare, and I got this I think last year, but it might have been the year before at SSK, and this is 490 yards, and it's in the Sand and Sea colorway, and it's a progressive, so it starts at one color with the light sand and works its way
Oh,
out in darkness to the dark indigo color. So it's not like a
cool.
striping, it's sort of larger blocks of color that
Cool.
progress naturally. So it's almost 500 yards, so it's perfect size to do, a shawl of
The
some sort.
gradient, yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially a gradient. So this is going to be the giveaway. We'll draw next week only because I don't have the worksheet ready and it's kind of a pain. It takes like a good 5-10 minutes to get it ready, and I don't want you guys to have to just sit and wait while we fill airtime. So this is what we're giving away, and then Laura talked about the yarn.
Yeah, so I'll have that hand spun done for next week.
Oh, because you're off now.
Yeah,
Sweet. So we'll actually be prepared when we give things away next week.
maybe.
But yes, a genuine thank you to all of our Patreon subscribers and generous donors, and those who also donate. Some people prefer not to do a subscription donation, and they do one-off donations. We thank those people very generously
Yes.
as well. We are still here and can afford to do things like, buy a new camera or continue to, pay ridiculous cable fees because of, us having to do this long distance and all that, because people support us, and we appreciate it and thank you kindly.
I think that's it for this
I
week.
think
Is
so
there anything
too.
else?
No, I don't have anything else besides
Okay.
mad cleaning to do before you get here in a week and a half.
Oh, that's right. I'm coming and I need to clean because my mom's coming here this week. So that's gonna be fun. She got she went to a motorcycle rally this weekend, and like all the guys like all my dad's like Pittsburgh motorcycle friends stopped at their house on the way back because they've never seen the new house.
Yeah.
So she's like, there's 10 motorcycle guys at my house. I'm going to go to Walmart for a little while.
Just for the quiet, and that's bad.
I have to feed them all. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like a bad thing, but she was like, I just need to get out for a little bit.
Yeah, I understand that completely.
So,
Well,
like
that's it.
That's it.
You guys have a lovely week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, all.